Good morning, everyone. We are live. I am Tina Swithin, founder of Divorcing a Narcissist, the author of Divorcing a Narcissist, a whole series of books, founder of One Mom's Battle, and the High Conflict Divorce Coach Certification Program, and Family Court Awareness Month. I just keep adding to my resume. I am not an attorney. I cannot give you legal advice. We are very much a group of survivors and lemonade warriors who come together with collective wisdom and talk all things narcissist and family court. I'd like to remind everyone, always check with your attorney on anything you plan to implement, any strategy you decide to utilize. They are your voice and hopefully your advocate in the courtroom. Good morning, Jenny and Gigi. I touched on it last week, but it is official. We are moving to Instagram Live starting January 7th. So we will be here. I'm not doing it the week of Christmas. I don't know. I don't have a calendar in front of me. But I think it's December 24th. We will be off and I will be hanging with my family. But starting January 7th, we're going to a new place and a new time. I've had a lot of feedback from people that they struggle to find the YouTube in the mornings, and that the time is not good for them because they're doing school drop-offs or whatever it is. So we're moving to Instagram Live at 9 a.m. every Friday morning, starting on January 7th. Gigi, we are going to have to talk about getting you even if it's Instagram just for this purpose. You are such a part of our Friday. Yes, thank you, Gigi. 12/24 is a Friday. We will not be doing Coffee with Tina, but 12/31, I am going to kick off the end of the new year with you all. I will be doing Coffee with Tina. It will be our last one here on YouTube for the year. Ironically, New Year's Eve is the day I got married to my ex-husband. So no better time to celebrate than with all of you here who can relate to this type of nightmare that we have all found ourselves in. Let's see. I am finishing to work. It's been a long week. We've had a lot going on over here. I've been finishing my book, revising my first book, Divorcing a Narcissist, One Mom's Battle, having the cover revised to reflect the changes. I'm so excited. Yay, Gigi's coming to Instagram. I'm so excited to put that out there and be able to share the finale of our journey and where we are today. So hopefully that will be out live by February 1st. That is kind of my goal. Gigi got married in Vegas, very planned and not by Elvis. We got married in Maui, and we went over there on vacation, and I remember talking to Lundy Bancroft about this when I was at his retreat, and that my mom had just died in November, the end of November, November 28th. She overdosed and died. And the next month, my ex said, we're going to go to Maui. We're going to, decompress. Trauma bond, is how Lundy referred to it as, is that he took advantage of such a horrific time in my life. And that's when he proposed when we got to Maui. And then the next bomb that he dropped on me was that let's just get married while we're here and not tell anyone. So we planned a wedding in less than 3 days. he was this, looking back, it's just so the irony and all of these things. He insisted that a male marry us, just like during our relationship. At the end of the marriage, he insisted that our therapist was a male PhD. So this guy who married us, he insisted it be a man. That was his preference. And so just so many weird things that went along with that whole experience. But, I'm here suffering, grieving from the loss of my mom. Whether it was an overdose or a suicide, we still will never know for sure. But then, he proposes and then says, let's not tell anybody. And then we get married and come back from this getaway completely married. And I remember Lundy saying, so typical of an abuser, almost playbook. And so, yeah, New Year's Eve was the big day, 2001. And so, yeah, I will be here with all of you celebrating this amazing chapter of my life and supporting all of you in whatever chapter you are in. I have a puppy under my desk chewing on my boot. So the first question, how do I prepare for mediation with attorneys present? So I do have an online course on this. If this is a topic that you are personally struggling with and you want to, go deeper on this topic. But I think the basics to keep in mind, realistic expectations. If you are going into anything with a narcissist or a sociopath and expecting them to do the right thing, to be honorable, to be fair, then that's kind of a check-in for ourselves, that our expectations are not in alignment with reality. So that, that our mental preparation for these things, whether it's mediation, whatever it is such a huge part of that component. And that's where I see people operating in the fight or flight mode, or, they're disappointed because they're expecting this other person to do the right thing. And that person is truly not capable of doing the right thing. They're just not. And so that radical acceptance piece goes into our own presentation, our own mindset, our own strategy. So for me, I don't believe that mediation is a waste of time. Like a lot of people will say, for me, I believe it's almost like training wheels for family court. For one thing, it's typically, you don't have a choice. In a lot of areas, I know here in California, it's mandatory. You have to go to mediation. And so even if you think it's pointless, for me, I always show up and go above and beyond. That is just who I am. Even if it's a job interview that maybe I don't really want, I see that as practice. For the big picture, every time I go to a job interview, that is practice for the job interview that I really want and that I want to land that job or that career. So that's how I look at mediation. It's a chance for us to practice how we present ourselves to a neutral third party who is part of the family court system. It's a way to desensitize yourself to being in the same room with this monster. And so I still prepare for mediation or anything as if this is, going to go in my favor. This is a huge deal, even if it really is not going to matter. I would want to know, is this mediator going to make a recommendation to the court, or is what happens here private? That's a really important thing to find out before you walk into mediation, because I know myself and so many of us, we just walk into these situations believing that everybody is child-centric, everybody is pro-child safety, and that they're a professional, and so they're going to do the right thing. Unfortunately, there's such a huge scale of professionals, ranging from those who are completely corrupt, those who are in collusion with attorneys, or, trading off in this case for that case, it happens, or those who are leading with their own bias to where they're not going to honor you or your side of the story no matter what. And then you have the ones who are really there for the right reasons and they are professional. I'm going to read Gigi's comment. So Jenny said we settled in mediation. And I do find that that can happen. Usually it's if you're willing to give the narcissist everything they want when it comes to the financials, because we know that's their, motivating factor. And, therefore, if you're able to do those negotiations so they feel like they won, I do hear of people who settle in mediation. The one thing I would warn you about to check with your attorney, I do see a lot of people give up everything financial to secure the children and the ideal custody arrangement. And then what I've seen happen is once you've given up all the property, all the assets, the finances, and then you get the children and you both walk out those doors feeling like you've been successful, they can go file the very next week. And now you've lost everything financial and now they're going for 50-50. So those are some really dirty tactics that I do see the narcissist or the sociopath use. So Gigi says mediation was telling of the other person's mindset and what they value. Absolutely. It's a good way to see their cards. And she says on the issue of child safety during mediation, you can't negotiate safety. That was the biggest sticking point during mediation. I was shocked at how much the professionals wanted to trade safety for money. Absolutely. Those are things to pay attention to. But what I would say, making sure you and your attorney are on the exact same page. I would sit down and write out each point that is going to be discussed. I would figure out where I am on each of those issues, where I'm willing to settle, where I'm not. And I would make sure my attorney and I were so aligned before walking into that mediation so that there's no confusion, because when trauma brain sets in or anxiety, PTSD, all of that, it tends to make our cognitive functioning go out the window. So I would want all of those important things discussed in advance. And again, if you do want a little bit of a deeper dive into this topic, go to the One Mom's Battle website and click on online courses. I have one for mediation. Question number 2, my ex calls me the narcissist. How do I know if I am the problem? Good question. Do you guys like my cup? So obviously I'm not a therapist. I'm not qualified to make any type of assessment on anyone in the world. But I will tell you in general terms, from what I have seen over the years, the fact that you have the ability to ask the question, how do I know if I'm part of the problem? The fact that you care enough to ask that question tells me you probably aren't the biggest problem in this equation. With that said, I am a huge believer in therapy. I will probably be in and out of therapy for the rest of my life. I will never claim to be perfect. I think we're all a work in progress. I think that we all bring our own baggage into these situations. I like, looking at where are my triggers? Where is my baggage? When this happened, why did I react that way? I think that is healthy, and I think that we should all do that. And because awareness around where our triggers are, where those buttons are, can really, gosh, I'm coming up on 50 years old, and I still kind of go, okay, I know why I reacted that way. I have abandonment issues from childhood. When this person said this, that was a trigger, so, but the fact that you care enough to ask says so much to me. And I don't believe the narcissist is capable of self-reflecting or caring to that degree. So hopefully that eases your mind a little bit. But like with anything, consult with a mental health professional. And then the third question, how do you pick a knowledgeable evaluator for child custody? So for me, again, it goes back to the naivety that I had when I first embarked on this journey. Just believing that all family court professionals err on the side of caution, uh, believe that child safety is the priority. Unfortunately, again, there's this huge scale no matter what professional we're talking about. And, so going into it very realistic, with your eyes wide open is so important. Again, like with anything in the family court system, it's knowing who the options are, who all of the players are. I would want to become an expert. If I were just starting this journey off, I'm here in San Luis Obispo, California, I would become an expert on my local system. I would know who every mediator is. I would know who every child custody evaluator is. I would start collecting information on them, first online. That's the easiest way. I like to search Facebook profiles, social media profiles. If you do some digging, you can find out about people. We just had an evaluator come on our radar, and in a post or on social media or on the website, she said something about being hungry for a battle, a court battle. And that kind of struck me as an odd thing to say, not normal, and it was just weird. So that would kind of go onto my list of, this is something I've seen or heard. Connecting with your state chapters of One Mom's Battle. Cannot emphasize that enough. It's a great place to collect information. Like, we'll have somebody send a PM or a DM to the main Facebook page at One Mom's Battle, and they'll say, I want to know information on custody evaluators in Detroit. The Michigan chapter for OMB would probably be a safer place to ask that, because, if we put that out there, yeah, we're going to probably get some comments, but in my opinion, it can put someone's case at risk if they are openly communicating about their experience. So they're going to be less likely to share those things on our main Facebook page. The One Mom's Battle, it's still the internet, even though it's a private chapter, and we do our best to screen and provide that first layer of safety. It's the internet, so you still have to be careful. But that would be my next step, is to go to www.ombchapters.com and join your local state chapter. ombstatechapters.com. ombstatechapters.com. Yes, that is what it is. And there's an application process, and I process those about once a week, so it's not an immediate thing, but that would be the next step. I would talk to my attorney. I would ask my attorney, I need you to first of all, tell me every single option that we have, both here in our area and then out to the next layer, throughout the next counties, surrounding counties. If finances are not a barrier for you, I would want to know what the experts are, bigger picture. And then once you have that list, whatever your list is, if it's your local area, what does the attorney, what has their experience been with each of these individuals? And is there one that the attorney believes would be a horrible fit given your specific situation? So unfortunately, I don't have a, slam dunk easy answer for you. It's going to be you really becoming an expert and making an educated decision. And if it were my perfect world, I would come up with a list of the 3 evaluators that I would be okay with no matter what. And then I would put those out there for the other side to choose, because then that gives them that power and control um, that they crave. And there are some other tips on here that on this topic that, there's some things that I won't openly say because falling into the wrong hands, it can have an effect on healthy parents and whatnot. So if you're looking to deep dive into strategy on any of these topics today, I highly recommend consulting with a divorce coach who is specifically trained in high conflict arenas. My program graduates, you can go to myhighconflictdivorcecoach.com. And ideally, you would find one in your area, but truly they're trained to help, internationally if needed, because so many of these issues, they're not confined to a geographical location. But connect with a divorce coach. I am not taking new clients, but they are. And they can really help you to, because here's the problem with giving general advice, which I love doing, and I'm happy to talk through all of these things. If 5 different people asked the same question, there would be 5 different answers. Because when we really scrub it down, look at the variables, look at the background, the history, who you are specifically up against, helping you to profile that person, helping you to self-reflect and find out how you present to others. All of those things are really, really important. And so if you are working with a high conflict divorce coach, you're going to get that one-on-one overview of your case, your situation, and some answers that are more specific and personal to you and your case. So I highly recommend. Sandy asked, are there any expert witnesses that would be recommended to testify the effect of narcissistic abuse on children? So the hard part about that, let me tell you, we just had I posted it on the One Mom's Battle Facebook page yesterday, such a huge endorsement for Family Court Awareness Month. So somebody emailed me, she was in Michigan, and she said that her attorney, she came across the Santa Clara study, which you can find at npdnlaw.com. And it talks about the narcissist in the family court system and how they utilize the court system as their stage. And so she said, I almost shared this with my attorney when I first came across it last year, but I didn't. And then my attorney read the proclamation issued by the governor of Michigan, which we just got Michigan this past week, declaring November as Family Court Awareness Month. And in those bullet points, it talks about, on the proclamation, the Santa Clara study. So the attorney has now discovered the Santa Clara study because of the proclamation from the governor, and is now going to incorporate that into the case to show the court why this person is so litigious and horrible to go up against. So that was one of the best testimonials I have ever received in a decade of doing this work. So, Sandy, one of the biggest problems is there's really no research out there that specifically talks about how a narcissist affects a child. And then the even bigger part of that is that it's almost impossible to get a diagnosis of NPD. And so, those are two factors that make your question very challenging. And on that note, I need to get my kiddos off to school. Thank you for your holiday wishes, Gigi, and same goes out to everybody. Happy holidays. I hope you are checking in with yourself, keeping your oxygen mask on. If you aren't, this is your reminder to do that. The holidays can be extra taxing, and I really encourage you to press pause, even if that's 5 minutes in the mornings, to just get yourself centered and regroup, because this battle can really take its toll. So, sending you all lots of love and light, and wishes for the holiday season. Take care. Bye bye.